gone from disco to Eddie Vedder.
This is great. What is going on, our people? Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Dirt Diamond Sports Talk. Tonight, we are able to officially announce our partnership with the Spark Podcast Network. That's kind of the reason for the new look, the new music, the new feel. Wally and I are excited to get started with these guys. It's going to give us a little bit of an opportunity to get a little bit more exposure out there for the Dirt Diamond Sports Talk podcast. And yeah, Wally, it's going to be a pretty cool, fun thing that we're getting into here.
Yeah, first thing I want to thank for everybody for listening in. You know, we've got a growing audience. It's not huge, but it's growing. But one of the things that that Spark noticed was they liked what we did, and they also liked the fact that the audience is growing, and that's all.
Yep.
And so that's thanks to everybody who listens and favorites and rates the show. So thank you so very much, and we'll keep on trying to give you content that interests you and have a little fun too.
Absolutely. And you're still going to be able to find us everywhere that you found us before. So whether that was Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, X, any of those places, we're still there. Give us a follow, hit like and subscribe. And yeah, we're just going to get into it here. So tonight we're going to break down the Astros doing exactly what they had to do after that Baltimore disaster, which is come out swinging, sweep the Marlins, get Jeremy Pena and Yordan fully involved. Watch Peter Lambert. Man, this guy continues to look like the most stable arm in the rotation. We've said that before. Say it again. We'll touch a little bit on his performance. Suddenly, Wally, this makes the trade deadline conversation again even that more complicated. It wasn't the perfect series. Miami came in kind of spiraling. They've been a decent team for the season. Here lately, they've kind of been fallen off a little bit. But after getting swept by the Orioles, Houston really needed a response, and they got one. The Orioles series made the Astros look like they should be sellers. The Marlins series reminded everyone why this team is so hard to quit. And as you stated earlier, so hard to figure out. Miami was wounded. Houston did its job. Did the Marlins series really change anything for you, Wally?
Not really. The one thing we've talked about in our shows is we kind of like the Astros to choose a lane, be good or be bad, so they can decide what to do.
Yeah.
This series was what the doctor ordered. You look at the hitting numbers. They had 269 for a batting average, 559 slug, OPS of 879. Okay. Runners in scoring position, 7 for 16, scored three of their 18 runs with 2 outs. So they were getting kind of using a different formula. They've done a lot of 2 outs scoring this year, and they took care of business pretty well. Shocker, Yordan Alvarez was 583 for the series and a 1917 OPS. You had Pena hitting an OPS of 1.583. You had Yordan, then you had Paredes at a 1682 OPS. So the top of the lineup did what the top of the lineup is supposed to do. The pitching was great. Here's something. I don't know if you looked at this, but this blew me away when I started looking at it. The Astros had one pitcher all series throw less than 60% strikes, and that was Imai. They only had 2 other pitchers, 3 occasions when the pitchers threw less than 65% strikes. So this is as a series, they threw 66% strikes. That's outstanding. The bullpen threw almost 70% strikes.
Man.
And one of the things that I found most encouraging of the series was last night, Brian Abreu was deadly good.
Yes.
He was really, really good. And that's what Brian Abreu can be. He had his fastball around 98. He was dotting the changeup. He threw 14 pitches, 9 strikes, just looked basically unhittable.
He did. Since Abreu has come back from the restricted list, air quotes around that one, he's had 8 appearances, 8 2/3 innings, only allowing 2 earned runs, Wally, and that's on 5 hits, 3 walks, 10 strikeouts with a 2.08 ERA. Guess what his whip is?
1.
Less.
What?
Yeah, he's under 1. He's 0.92 whip since coming back. 10.4 K9. I mean, his ERA for the season is still ugly. It's still over 5. But recent numbers, man, yeah, I think that this is indicative of a guy trying to win back his job. 1, build some confidence. 2, and 3, we've said it. If Abreu can come back, man, what we were chatting about this. If Abreu can come back, Pena can do what Pena does. Yordan can continue to do what Yordan's doing. If Altuve can figure out his funk, if Cam can come out of his funk, Paredes is still hitting. He's doing Walker stuff right now. But this team's not looking that torn up and that bad. It's kind of giving me a cautiously optimistic feeling, I guess, with Pena coming back. The potential that this team could play up to, especially considering that Texas has lost 3 of their last 4 series. Seattle has lost 2 of its last 4 series. Neither of those teams have decided to continue to run hard, and the Astros play the Rangers. So this whole idea of making up some ground, there's a runway to that.
There is. I just cannot figure Seattle out. It's virtually the same team that they had last year, and they added Brendan Donovan. I believe Donovan's back. I just can't figure out, we joked around us as, that Raleigh hitting 162 or whatever is hit. It's what happens when you take the pharmacy away.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
I cannot figure that out at all. It's been a long time.
Nobody can. Nobody has.
I can't.
Nobody out there can defend the stark difference between Cal Raleigh's season last year.
Yeah,
and this year. There is no explanation and no defense for that.
But back to the Astros. I hope people can. We take Yordan Alvarez for granted. This is like history making stuff that he's doing.
Yep.
He is the best. You know who I'm talking about? A buddy and I. We spend a lot of time. He played college baseball, and we both agreed that Yordan is the best natural hitter to come along since Albert Pujols. And for old timers, and they asked Dusty Baker, "Who does Yordan remind you of?" And I had said the same. I had said this a couple of days ago, and a couple of days before he said this.
Yeah,
and he said he reminded him of Willie McCovey. And so if you get if you want to hear a Hall of Fame name about who Yordan gets compared with, Willie McCovey could hit a ball. Man, Willie McCovey could hit a ball.
Yep.
And they've got a similar swing. Yordan's got a little better swing, but the way they both attack the ball is so very similar, and the ball comes off their bat just about the same.
Yeah, it's continue to do what he's doing. I saw that he did a little interview bit with somebody, and he said, "I don't want to talk about the Triple Crown. Like, I don't want to talk about any of this. We have 2 months left of the season. Our team needs to win. I'm focused on helping the team win. I'm not really interested in talking about the Triple Crown anymore."
Yeah, good for him. And you've seen the difference also. What Jeremy Pena makes to this team. When he comes to the team, you've got the best combination. He's a faster version of George Springer at the top of the lineup. They have the same sort of power. Pena's faster, plays a different position, but he brings that same dynamic to the top of the lineup that George Springer did. And I think
Mhm.
the thing that it's Pena's figured out over the last couple of years. Remember when he first came up, first 2.5 years, if you had 2 strikes on him and you threw him a slider low and away,
Yep.
you'd go to the bank that he was going to
Every
chase it.
time.
And he
Yep.
wasn't going to he's going to miss it from here to Galveston.
Yeah.
And now he controls the strike zone so much better, and the ball's jumping off his bat. And did you hear what Logan Hughes said about Pena when they interviewed him? Said,
No, I
man,
didn't.
he's
I
a
missed
big
that.
Pena's a big guy. So he was talking about how buff Pena was.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's something.
y-
Payne is, yeah. I've seen him in person before. He's a lot bigger in person than you expect.
all
Doesn't
those
really
guys
show that
are.
way. They really are. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're like dudes, and they're like dudes.
Yeah. Guess what the Astros record is when Pena is in the starting lineup?
He missed. I'll bet you they're about 8 over.
You're a little off, but yeah, they're 29 and 24 with Pena in the starting lineup.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Yeah, pretty impressive. And if that doesn't speak to, Pena being the spark plug and Jordan being the gasoline to this team, that's a pretty
it's
impressive.
more
What
like
it didn't do
Jordan's
was
the
combine.
Jordan's the cannon and he's the shell.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Paredes, 2 huge homers in this series. Those final 2 games. He continues to be just
He does his deal.
He does the deal, man, and he's the answer to teams really trying to survive Jordan because you can throw Jordan outside, you can try to walk him, and then you got to answer to Paredes, especially whenever it's especially when he's over here at Daikin. I mean, he's kind of like the tax collector.
Hey, that ball he hit last night was a bomb.
Oh, off the facade up there was
off the
crazy.
community leader scores.
He hit it. He hit it further and higher than Jordan's home run.
Yeah.
Now Jordan didn't have as much loft or had more exit velocity, but yeah, Paredes, that thing bouncing off that facade way up there was crazy.
But you talk about the team element. No one knows for sure, but the Marlins pitcher had just given up the one to Alvarez, and you wonder if he had really gotten his concentration back.
Yeah, shaking up a little bit.
Because Alcantara had pitched a good game, and you wonder why he was still in that game in the 8th inning. Well, it's because their bullpen stinks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
their bullpen stinks. The Marlins bullpen is terrible. Yep. And so they're trying to get as much as they can, trying to win this game. And that's just what they're trying to do. And the Marlins have got to be getting desperate.
I think I would have to say so. I mean, they've lost 10 or 11 in a row now.
They've lost 9 in a row.
9 in a row. Okay. Yep. A sneaky cool story. Lucas Spence, not a household name to even really a lot of people that follow Astros minor league baseball. There's kind of a cool story from this kid, undrafted free agent that the Astros picked up and just coming in and, he's not knocking the cover off the ball. He's not dominating the box score, but he's showing up in moments and in moments that have really changed innings. I mean, if you think about it, he worked that walk before Pena's grand slam. He had that double, that RBI double on Tuesday, and he made that first inning catch behind Lambert on Wednesday that probably saved a run. That's a lot of value out of a small young player in this series. And I have said a couple of times he can track him down in center field too.
Yeah, he's going to struggle. He's hitting 200 right now. He's going to struggle like a lot of them do when they first come up. But one thing I've noticed about his routes, he goes straight back to the ball, finds it, and then moves laterally.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
if it's a high fly in the air, he gets back to the depth and then finds the ball. I
Yeah.
haven't seen
It's
too
a
much
little
where he's
it's a little bit like what Jake does.
Yeah,
Everybody
a
talks
little
about
bit.
Jake's defense, and a lot of people notice the difference in the way that Jake manages the outfield out there, and that's one of them. Is he gets behind the ball and then finds his path, whereas a lot of other guys are going to they're going to try to run at an angle and meet the ball at the apex. But yeah, I kind of noticed some of that too, and I don't know if that's something that's being taught down in the development leagues and in the minor leagues down there for the Astros. But most of these guys that are playing outfield for the Astros now that have come up through the what's the word I'm looking for? Just come up through the
Minors.
farm, have somewhat similar tactics
Yeah.
out there in the outfield. So kind of makes me
What do
believe
you
that maybe it's the thing that they're teaching down there.
what do you make of Cam sitting 3 games?
I don't know. I've kind of wondered if he tweaked something, if they're working on some stuff behind the scenes, and he's just taking a lot of reps.
I mean, I'll tell you, I won't think much about it.
But he's played a lot this season, man.
Yeah, I won't think much about it until he doesn't play on Friday.
Yeah, if he doesn't start this series, then there's
he's in a 1 for like 25. He hit that home run against the Rangers before the All-Star break. He's not hitting, and I think my sense is they gave him a mental break.
Yeah,
I would hope they, when I saw Lamont Waste out in right field, I was, boy, he's got a glove and he catches what's hit to him. He just doesn't get to very much. That ball that was hit in the alley.
Yeah.
There was a ball that was hit into the alley and it was a bad angle and he's slow.
Yeah.
And I was like, golly, Moses, they got to be able to do better than that.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see. It will be, if he doesn't start Friday, doesn't start tomorrow against the White Sox, then I think there's some speculation to be had.
Yeah, there is. Trade targets.
Yeah. Well, can we talk about Blanco real quick?
Sure.
Because that was
good.
I was pretty impressed with Ronel Blanco coming back and making hay. Not too bad for the first game back. And more than 400 days from his Tommy John. 4 2/3, allowing 2 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts on 86 pitches. And
I wish those 2 hits would have stayed in the yard.
Strikes. Yeah, I think that's the thing. And it was his fastball, right? His fastball only averaged like 93 or something like that. Generated some pretty good whiffs, 18 whiffs, 8 of those on 16 swings against the changeup. So I think that's, I think you have to accept both sides of his return here. The stuff looked real and looked really good, but the mistakes got punished. And, he's still knocking off some rust and that's okay. But I think that what matters is if he's a viable arm that can give Houston some competitive innings, they may not need to overpay for another starter. And then they could shift that priority to the outfield, that right-handed reliever that they really need, and then maybe a starting pitcher that could plug in at 4 or 5.
You've got Wisniewski coming up off of Tommy
That's
John.
True.
He's close behind, and that's a situation that they don't like to talk about people piggybacking, but it's something that could happen, and that way you can avoid 2 guys getting too far out of too far worked out when they're just coming back. Who else looked good was Bennett Sousa.
Bennett Sousa.
Sousa looked good, and when people talk, why did Brian King get sent down? Well, besides he wasn't performing well, that had Bennett Sousa coming back, and last year when Sousa has pitched, he's gotten a few saves, so he can perform in the leverage situations. And a guy like King has probably pitched more than they wanted him to, and it showed.
They've rode King's back. He's pitched a ton, and yeah, to feel like maybe he was just a little bit out of gas, I would buy that argument 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's go to trade targets.
Let's go to the trade targets. So the Astros are still not in a clean position here. They're 50 and 54. Texas Rangers are 51 and 51. Seattle's 51 and 52. The division is still reachable, still under 500. But I think your best argument for being a buyer is now, Pena's back, healthy and producing. Jordan's playing like an MVP. Paredes is given real lineup protection. Lambert looks like a real rotation piece. I saw somewhere, and did not actually see the video, but I saw somewhere that Joe Espada referred to Lambert as the ace.
He said he's been our ace.
Okay, there it is. Okay.
He's been our ace. And the thing is, we talked about this a couple of shows ago, is the thing about Lambert is he throws strikes, he fills up the zone, he knows what he can do, and so many pitchers, as great as these hitters are, they will get themselves out. And
Yes.
Lambert just throws pitches and gets himself in a positive count, and then throws a pitch that they have to swing at because it's close enough, and they get themselves out.
Yep.
On the converse, Brown is always looking at 3-1 and having to labor all the way through the at-bats. And
I texted you something about Lambert the other day. I said one of the signs of a good, mature, confident guy is to be able to come back from, when you don't have your best stuff,
right,
you still stay out there and you fight through it, and you still challenge the guys, and you get those outs and you get those weak hits. That's the sign of a confident and mature pitcher. And to say that about Pete Lambert, it seems a little bit oxymoronic, because this guy is somebody who, nobody wanted this guy. Yeah. This is a Dana Brown, dumpster dive here that seems to have truly worked out for the Houston Astros.
Did you read that article in The Athletic that I sent you?
I don't think I did.
Oh, it's great. It was talking about Lambert and how he went through the spring training, and they told him it was just a numbers thing, but he really connected with Sean Buchanan, who is the minor league pitching coach. Mm-hmm. And he knew you got the feeling that he knew that just between the two of them, they were having it figured out. What Lambert did is he moved all the way to the right, to the third base side of the pitching rubber. Mm-hmm. And he's got a bit of a crossfire delivery anyway. And so what that did on right-handed batters, it gave a really difficult angle for the right-handers to see coming across. Mm-hmm. And it was really a neat story about of perseverance and trust.
Yeah. Yep. That's really cool. I love the story of Pete Lambert. I think that, the Astros have a knack of doing this with guys, though.
They do.
They just have. I mean, there's story after story of pitchers coming to Houston, figuring it out and contributing to this team, and then maybe even going on somewhere else with a big fat contract and still being very good. Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
And so this is one thing that the Houston Astros have really done. And so you could, attribute it to Miller, attribute it to the dev team, whatever it is, but it's something that's really cool that this Astros team obviously continues to do, which is go find guys that everybody else seems to have given up on and turn them into a solid piece that contributes to wins.
And in order to keep on winning and come down the stretch, if they're going to add, it's going to cost.
Yep.
One of the things that you hear with the number of sellers, there's only 5 to 6 legitimate sellers out there. Okay. So two guys a circle. You got Elliot Ramos. We talked about that last time. The Astros could get a 3-for-1. Jake McCarthy's another name you hear out there. And I think if they could get Jake McCarthy, it would be nice for him to get. He's a left-handed, good outfielder, center fielder. Spent most of his career with the Diamondbacks and has gone up to Colorado this year and had a nice season. And it would take something on the lines of like a Fermin, who's a highly touted shortstop at the rookie league. Walker Janek would be one you might want to throw in. Ronaldo Delgado and Joseph Sullivan, and I don't know if that'd get it done. You might have to put a higher, you may have to put an Ethan Fry in there because with the few number of sellers, they're going to be able to name their price.
Yeah, the market's going to be hot. It's going to be high.
I mean, it just is. And there's not.
So they did trade away Nate Pearson.
Yeah, what'd you think about that?
Yeah, sure.
What'd you think about that?
They got a right-handed pitching prospect for him, right? I think it matters because it tells you that the Astros are willing to reshuffle the bullpen, the edges, right? Rather than really just kind of standing still and saying, "Hey, this is what we've got." The Pearson move's not a big deal. It's not the move that the Astros need. But it kind of tells you that they're recognizing those margins on the outside of a few things and maybe looking at a few places where they're not what I like to call moving the needle type of moves, but moves that when you do go out and make that trade or that deal for a player that you feel can move the needle, your margins expand a little bit. And so I think that this is kind of one of those moves where they saw Pearson as not a guy that's going to contribute to moving the needle or helping those margins on the outside. Can we get a prospect back? And they went ahead and got one.
Yeah, and the prospect they got is not a complete lottery ticket.
No.
I mean, he's a high A prospect. He's 22 years old. Last name is Martin.
Max Martin.
At 22, he's right in line with where he should be in Double A in High A. To stay on track, he needs to move to Double A next year, and you would expect him to be able to do that. So I give Dana, who knows how he's going to work out, but Dana seems to have worked a pretty good deal.
Yeah. Yep. I think so. I thought that was a good.
Take a recording of that because we don't always say that about Dana.
We don't. We need to clip that one, because we don't.
One of the things the Astros have to do, and when they get to the trade deadline, is they really need to start, developing some excitement back of the team. When you go to a game right now, it's just dead.
Yeah.
When you look at the attendance, and this actually plays into what they can afford, is they're down since 2023. They're down 7,000 people per game.
Yep.
Okay. Take that and multiply it out. It's about $100 a ticket, 700,000 an opening. And then you get into about $56 million in revenue that's been lost over that period of time. And Crane's going to notice. Any owner's going to notice that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I think so. And it's and the Astros have been in decline. Missed the playoffs last year.
Shocker.
So, yeah, there you go. You want an explanation? There's your explanation. So, but I think that, of course, everybody likes to say that Dana that Crane likes to say, as long as I'm the owner, the window is open. And there's all the rumors already out there that he's authorized Dana to go big and make it happen. Not really knowing what that means. I think that, there's not, again, they've got some trade capital. And like we said, maybe making a few moves and clearing some of this middle, I don't want to call it clutter. These are baseball players. These are humans.
But you're clearing guys that used to be prospects that you don't see as part of your future.
Yes. Yeah. Because you've got a lot of these guys in lower A ball and rookie ball that because you drafted clearly for a specific reason. And again, I think that there's maybe some credit to be given to Dana in some of these drafts that he's had, especially the last couple of years. But you have an opportunity to weed out the middle portion of your farm system potentially here at this trade deadline to make room for those guys to start moving up, because when you don't do that, things get a little bit cluttered,
Right.
and things start being a little stuffy in there, and you don't provide a true path for those young guys to go ahead and start taking those moves when they're ready or when they need to be pushed.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And it's going to be interesting to see how he works it. And the next 3 series will make so much difference in deciding what the Astros do. They go to Chicago, they go to the Angels, and they have the Rangers at home.
Yep. One of these next 6 games, I feel like they're going to already have their decision made before they play the Rangers as to what.
Oh yeah, I think you're absolutely right. If they haven't, we talk about carrying a lane. They've got to pick one. Friday night you've got Arrighetti against Davis Martin. Davis Martin's been good.
Mm-hmm.
Brown against Sean Burke. Sean Burke has been pretty good. Blanco against Eric Fetty. Eric Fetty has been Eric Fetty.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a tough series, and then they go to the Angels. Coming out of that series, they absolutely have to win this series against the Sox. You would hope they can sweep the series against the Angels, but you figure there's another team on the other side of that's actually trying to win games too. So,
yeah. Imai, Lambert, and Arrighetti against the Angels.
Against the Angels. I think they need to go. They've got to be aiming for 5-1.
I mean, I almost feel like they've got to get to 500.
Yeah.
Got to get to 500. So
yeah, even if you're that close in the division, if you're not at 500, you're not a contender.
And that's 4-2. So they're going to go. They got to go 4. No, they've got to go 5-1 to be 500.
They got to go 5-1.
Yeah.
Then they've got the Rangers at home. It's that, even like I say, even if you're only a couple of games back, if you're not at 500, you're not a contender. Got to get to 500 first.
Yep, I think so. Yeah, I think that you set the bar for yourself, not necessarily set the bar where the division stands.
Yeah.
And this team can be a 500 team. This team can be a better than 500 team. And, maybe just a couple more pieces is all they really do need. And potentially that's something that, we can see the Astros do and start making some of those moves. And, who knows what the last 50 games of the season are going to look like, right?
Yep. That's it.
All right. That's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Our first night, part of the Spark Podcast Network. For my man, Wally, I'm Ryan. Thanks for catching us on another episode of Dirt Diamond Sports Talk.
Go Stros.